Okay, here we go. More stuff that's gonna make everybody hate me even more. Okay, I said what I said, like about like Christian churches and all this stuff. Probably pissed a lot of people off. I don't really care. Like facts is facts. Okay, let's have a little history lesson. All right, the Catholic Church does not have the best history. I mean, I think everybody can agree with that, right? I mean, they were responsible for the Inquisition and basically squashing out anything that disagreed with their just crazy, just lunatic, crazy way of looking at things. All right. Let's talk about the Library of Alexandria. All right. The Library of Alexandria was ran by a sect called the Gnostics. All right. The Gnostics, the Catholics, and any other Christian church will say that they are heretics, they're heretical, and all this stuff. The Library of Alexandria had over 3 million scrolls in it. I mean, these guys were about it. Like gnosis, that's what the word Gnostic is based on. It means knowledge, okay? They weren't going by just blind faith, okay? Blind belief. We're just going to believe it because someone else told us to believe it. No, they weren't like that. They actually did the investigative work. They read the books. They traveled around and listened to the stories and all that stuff, and logged over a long period of time what they had learned. Okay, they were about knowledge, not just blind belief and faith. Faith. It wasn't about faith with them. All right, like it was about, is this facts? Is this provable or is it not? And the long and short of what was in that library, that the new Pharisees, that's what the Catholic Church was. The Romans came down to the Holy Land or whatever, and they're like, man, these Pharisees got a fucking going on, man. Like they were hitting a lick here. Like, so they adopted some of their principles and said, we're just going to take this idea and run with it. They became the new Pharisees, but worse. Like, they were worse than the Pharisees. So they find out they got this Library of Alexandria thing going on, 3 million scrolls, and they snuck a few guys in there to check it out. And lo and behold, like, what's in there is very damaging. Very, very damaging to this new concept they're putting about. Very damaging. Because it's facts. That's what it was. It was facts. Can't have that. We got to have these people going to us. We're the middlemen, between you and God. You got to come to us to get your daily dose and all this stuff. And, come tell us your sins and all that stuff. And all we're going to do is just use it against you and keep you feeling more guilty and all that crap. Yeah, they had that going on. They had to keep that going on because that kept the money coming in the plates, and even worse. There's worse stuff that goes on. It ain't all just about the money. Like it goes deeper than the money. Way deeper than just the money. So what do? They first sack the library and burn it. Okay, sounds a lot like what these progressives like to do. They're going to run in, steal as much shit as they can, and then burn it all down. Steal what's useful, burn the rest. And that's what they did. And slap the heretic label on these guys. Really, all they were just a bunch of freaking nerds. They were a bunch of religious nerds. They're not religious. It wasn't really about religion. It was just about learning the laws of the universe. That's what they were about. How does this actually function? How does this actually work? How do different dimensions function? How does one go from this level to that level? And they actually had a system of how to do it. And they had all the proof. So what do? They run in, steal what they can, and burn the rest. And where is all those scrolls now? I'll tell you where they're at. They're 500 feet below ground behind 3 feet of bulletproof glass, nobody in, nobody out, right underneath the Vatican. And that's where they've been ever since. Every once in a while, they'll let a certain, priest or bishop or cardinal in there to read up on some stuff. But the rules are you can't even bring a freaking pencil in that place. You can bring one sheet of paper. You can bring one piece of notebook paper and a pencil. And there's going to be a guy standing right over your shoulder watching what you write down. And you got to know exactly the scroll, the book, or whatever that you want to go get. And you are not even allowed to go get it. They send that guy to go get it and bring it back to you. And you sit there and you write down your notes. He checks them, makes sure there's nothing too damaging there. And if there's nothing too damaging there, they'll let you leave with a sheet of paper. And they got basically the history of humanity in that library. Nobody in, nobody out. Why? If they're so beneficial, if they're so, we're just about the people, you know, why won't they let you learn? Why don't they want you to know what they know? Seems a bit sus to me. Why are you ripping off all these other like spiritual practices, calling them heretics, and yet adopting what's useful to your scam, but you won't teach it to the people you're scamming? You know, you see where I'm going with this? You know, the Bible's a perfect example. It is a hodgepodge of different stuff. You know, if you go back in the earlier Bibles, unicorns pop up in there. I forget, I think it's Leviticus or something like that. Unicorns actually pop up in there. The Anunnaki's in there. They talk about the Pleiadians. You know, they're starting to come around to say, oh, ETs may exist and we would baptize them. Well, I doubt they would want to be fucking baptized by y'all. You know, but it mentions all this stuff in like the older Bibles. You won't see it in the newer ones. Also coincidental. Every time shit gets a little hairy, you know, the peasants get restless, a new version comes out. A new denomination comes out. Yada, yada, yada. You see where I'm going with this. Food for thought.